What if you could eat pizza every day and still hit your protein goals? Sounds impossible, but by changing one ingredient, we can make it happen. The trick is by replacing your pizza dough with ground chicken, giving you all the protein you need while keeping it carb-free, gluten-free, and keto-friendly. But the best part is not the fact that this is made in less than an hour. It's the fact that this pizza tastes insanely delicious, and it's all thanks to the simple ingredients we use and how we put them together. All right, first thing we're gonna do is head on over to our oven and set it to 425 degrees convection bake. I'm also gonna load in one of these pizza pans that I have, but you can use a regular sheet pan and try not to clip your knee while closing the door. Now, while that preheats, we're gonna get to work on our pizza sauce, and there are two die-hard fan bases when it comes to pizza sauce. Fan base number one is that you do not cook down your sauce. You just let the sauce be how it is. You let the tomatoes do all the work for you. Fan base number two is that you cook down the sauce. You reduce all the liquid a little bit, make a thicker sauce and concentrate those flavors. Now, I personally prefer a cooked down sauce. I just think it does a better job of just developing more flavor to it, which we're gonna be doing here. But if you prefer a non-cooked, more traditional pizza sauce, then go that route. Either or, there's really no wrong answers. And if someone tells you there is, they're kind of full of caca. I might get in trouble with that one now that I'm thinking about it. To get this sauce going, we're gonna grab a medium-sized pot, setting it to medium-low heat, and throwing in 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. Once it's all melted, we'll toss in 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon of dried chili flakes, and 2 cloves of freshly crushed garlic. Give that a nice mixing, letting that butter infuse with all those herbs and blooming them for just about 30 seconds. Once everything is nicely bloomed, we're gonna throw in 1 whole grated white onion. Make sure to mix it all together, and we're gonna saute this for about a minute. To grate the onion, all you're gonna do is cut off the tip and then peel off the outside layer, and then we're just gonna hit it with a grater. It is probably one of the easiest types of things you could grate. I got it done in honestly a few seconds. And when you're done, definitely don't put your face in the bowl and smell it, because it will be a very rude and tearful awakening. Back to our pot, our onions have softened for about a minute, and now we're gonna pour in 1 can of crushed tomatoes. Give it a very thorough mixing, making sure to get it all incorporated evenly, and then we're gonna throw in 2 teaspoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 bundle of fresh basil. Give it one final mixing, making sure to incorporate those ingredients together, and now we're gonna let this simmer at low heat for 15 minutes. You want a very gentle simmer. It shouldn't be splattering and shooting red sauce all over the place. Now, while that sauce simmers, we're gonna get to work on our pizza dough, though it's really not technically dough. Instead, it's made entirely out of chicken. We're going to be replacing the carbs and dough with instead an insane amount of protein. And thankfully, unlike pizza dough, this only takes like 30 minutes to put together. In a medium-sized bowl, we're going to toss in 1 pound of ground chicken, and then we're also going to throw in 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, half a cup of Parmesan cheese that I just grated myself, 1 whole egg, and then 1 teaspoon of salt. Now would be the time to put some gloves on, because we are going to get our hands dirty and incorporate and mix all those ingredients together. You can use a spoon, but honestly, using your hands is just way more efficient, even though it does feel kind of gross. Once everything is nicely mixed together, we're going to now grab ourselves a sheet of parchment paper, and then we're going to throw down our chicken mixture on top of that, and we're going to grab a second sheet of parchment paper, laying it on top of the chicken. Now, with the rolling pin, we're gonna roll out our chicken into the shape of a pizza. Take your time with it, and if you need to, you can just use your hands to spread it out more evenly if you're having a hard time rolling it out with the roller. Once you have it to the size you want, all you gotta do is just peel off that top layer of parchment paper, and now you have a beautifully pizza-shaped chicken crust. Technically a raw crust, and if there's any holes in it, you could scrape off some of the chicken from the top parchment paper and then close up any of the little holes that you may find. Now we're gonna grab our sheet pan that's been in the oven preheating, and be careful not to burn yourself, and then we're gonna gently lay down our chicken pizza crust on top of it, and we're gonna toss it in the oven for 20 to 40 minutes. You could do just 20, but if you want a really crispy no flop dough, you gotta do 40 minutes. Back to our sauce, you can see it's now simmered for 15 minutes and it's thickened up a little bit, but more importantly, all the flavors have concentrated incorporated and further developed. Don't forget to strain out the basil, and depending your tomatoes, you might need a little bit more salt or sugar to balance out the flavors, but this one tasted good to me. Okay, so we have most of our ingredients ready. The sauce has been made, the crust is developing, getting nice and crispy in the oven. The only thing we need to worry about next, actually, the second to last only thing we need to worry about next is our cheese. Now, typically I just use mozzarella, and I would just use a full fat mozzarella cheese and pair it with a part skim mozzarella cheese, mozzarella. But this time we're changing it up. I'm gonna do part skim mozzarella cheese, and I'm gonna do this fresh mozzarella cheese, and I'm gonna grate it as well, which I feel like is gonna be a sin and people will be mad at me about it, but I think it's gonna be good. And I actually would prefer an even spread of this cheese versus like ripping giant dollops, which is more traditional, but I just wanna try something new here. To grate your cheese, you could do it in a bowl or on a cutting board like I'm doing here. I grated one side of my cutting board with the part skim cheese until I got enough for one pizza, and then I grated our fresh mozzarella cheese next to it until we got enough for one pizza, and I just mixed the two cheeses together with my hands until they're nicely evenly mixed together, and then I threw them into a bowl. This is right around the same time our pizza crust was ready to be pulled out of the oven, and as you see, it's nicely crispied and developed beautifully. I'm gonna check underneath it, and as you can see, there's some nice color underneath it as well. Just be careful not to burn your fingers. I'm gonna throw down a dollop of our pizza sauce, making sure to spread it out nice and evenly. And now let's talk about the rest of our toppings. Now for the toppings of this pizza, we're obviously doing cheese, and you could really put whatever you want, but I would like to caution you and just be careful with one specific topping, which is pepperoni or any kind of sausage that you want to put on top of it. These suckers are good for most pizzas, but for this one, they're just so oily and greasy that it just makes it a greasy mess. And if there was typically more traditional doughy bread in the pizza crust, I feel like it would suck it up better, but since it's just chicken, it doesn't really do much for it. Now, besides the cheese, we're also gonna put in a few cubes of red onions, and then that's pretty much it. We're gonna throw it back in the oven. Now, with every pizza I've ever eaten, an absolute must ingredient that I must have to dip my pizza in is some ranch dressing, but there is one exception, which is hot honey. You could use some of this Frank's hot honey. It's actually Mike's hot honey. Or if you want, you could make your own hot honey in literally 2 seconds with 2 ingredients. All you're gonna need to do is squeeze in some honey. Just use as much as you're gonna need for that meal, or make extra for later. Along with the honey, we're gonna toss in half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of chili flakes, depending your spiciness level. Give it a very thorough mixing, getting all those ingredients incorporated with one another and letting that chili flakes marinate into the honey itself. And that's it. Now you have your own hot honey at home. And it takes all of 2 seconds. Now, I do prefer a ranch most of the time with my pizza, but I will admit it's not the healthiest ingredient, and this hot honey is honestly making me feel much better about lathering it all over my pizza. I'm gonna take our pizza out at around the 12-minute mark, and then I'm gonna peel it off the parchment paper and slide it back on the sheet tray. I'll hit it with a few leaves of fresh basil and drizzle some of our beautiful hot honey over top of it as well. And now this is your high-protein chicken pizza that took less than an hour to make. It is full of protein. Fun fact, the chicken crust alone has 100 grams of protein to it. That's not including whatever little proteins in the sauce or in the cheese. This sucker is cooked to perfection, and as you can see, the slices are not floppy. It holds its own. There's a nice little bit of a toasty undercarriage, and most importantly, it tastes so good. I honestly would eat this pizza every day, and it would not get old for me, especially because you customize it however you want. The freedom's all yours. Oh, and this recipe makes a lot more red sauce than you need, so what you should be doing is storing and freezing it, so that way you have it on standby whenever you need it. And I accidentally made a mistake. This recipe is not carb free. I forgot there's carbs in marinara sauce as well as a little bit in cheese, so my apologies. If you like easy high protein recipes like this one, well then you have to check out my 5 high protein recipe video right here. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button and have a wonderful rest of your day.